What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video. And if you're new here from my latest video, I've been doing some numbers. I appreciate that. You can hit the sub button. Join the family. We like to talk about Marvel, DC, gaming, music, all types of stuff over here. If you like the content, type down below what you want me to talk about. If you want me to talk about something specific. And let's just keep the train rolling here. So, 2 days ago, by the time you're seeing this, Marvel had a big leak of concept art for Avengers Doomsday, and basically the talk of the town was not that this stuff looks great, it was more so, how can Marvel ruin another beloved Marvel story? And it's like the hate train, the hate boner continues. And once again, I say this because people don't watch the video, they watch like a minute in before they start typing their comments. The MCU can have criticism. I have issues with the MCU. I have my problems with it. But people have been on this hate for the MCU for the past few years, and it's ridiculous. It's just a group of people that complains about every movie that's coming out. It's a group of people that complains about Marvel can never do right. And it's just insane to me the leaps and bounds people are going to discredit Marvel when, yes, they have some L's, yes, they have some problems that we need to address, but it's not the worst thing in the world, which is crazy to me. People act like the MCU is devil incarnate. We cannot wait for the DCU to rise out of its ashes and out of its debt to finally take over so we can appreciate the glory that is the DCU compared to the MCU. And it's crazy. And I say that, I know someone's gonna type, oh my god, you're such a DC hater, when I just had a video talking about how I want the DCU to succeed. But that's besides the point. So this concept art leaked, and there's a bunch of, it looks good, I ain't gonna lie, but it's concept art. You can't really say that a project's gonna look good based on concept art, because we saw concept art for Daredevil and She-Hulk. We saw concept art for No Way Home and Far From Home that looked insane, and we didn't get none of that in the movie. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. I would post the pictures, but I know Disney lawyers will come through with a double knee drop off the sky and put me through a table. I ain't Listen, I'm not gonna get jumped for y'all. Y'all cool. Y'all are great. I want to support. They not gonna put me through the ringer. No way. But if you want to see the content, go on Twitter. If you don't want to use Twitter, it's all over Reddit and different social media. You can find the concept art. And so the stuff came out, and a bunch of people was like, man, this has so much sauce, so much aura, but it's the MCU. I don't know if they're gonna cook like that. But I don't know if it's gonna be good. And it's just like, it's funny to me because we go through this almost circle again and again and again, where like stuff will come out, it'll get announced, or stuff will be revealed, and people will complain about it until they actually see it. It's like, oh my god, this is actually pretty good. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like, yes, people will have problems about the new Captain America movie, but at the same time, people are like, this is a solid film for what it is. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's pretty solid. Or I remember when Deadpool and Wolverine was announced, and people was talking about, oh my god, it's gonna be a cameo fest. This isn't gonna be good. I'm scared that they're gonna ruin Deadpool, because you know Disney loves to ruin everything it touches. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. And then when it comes out to be excellent, people are like, I always knew it was gonna be good because of Ryan Reynolds. You know, he always has to carry the film. It's so funny to me. I was listening to a podcast, and they were ranting about the new Captain America movie, and I like watching different opinions and seeing what they like or don't like, because, you know, I have my critiques of the film as well. But one of the things was like, Marvel hasn't put out a good movie in like 5 years. And I'm like, that's insane. You have the new Spider-Man film, you have Deadpool, Wolverine, you have Shang-Chi, you have different movies that are pretty solid, you know what I mean? And they were like, I can't give them credit for Deadpool and Wolverine because that's Ryan Reynolds' baby. He carried the project, you know what I mean? He's the one who did it. So you can't give credit to the MCU. You can't give credit to Spider-Man because that's a Sony production. You can't give the MCU credit for that. And it's so funny for me, the leaps and bounds, the loops that people go through to say that the MCU isn't good, but when it is good, they have to discredit it. It's like, no. The MCU before Endgame was peak. Every movie was a classic. This is the greatest thing ever. But now that it's after the Endgame, it's like, oh, it's just horrible. And when it is good, now we can't, it has to be another factor. Which is crazy to me, because people would still come out and say, Sony should handle Spider-Man. And Sony comes out every week and gives you reason after reason after reason where they don't understand the character, they don't know what they're doing, they can't handle a universe to save their lives. But there are still groups of people that are like, Sony should have their own Spider-Man trilogy. They could just carry it through and through. Or like the more stuff that comes out about the MCU where it's like, oh, Spider-Man can't be in Daredevil Born Again because they don't have the rights. Or the Hulk, you can't really make a project because they don't have the rights or something like that. People come out and say, man, they're just ruining these characters. They're not giving them the fair opportunity. What's the point of Marvel even using the characters if you can't use the full potential? Like, their hands isn't tied 24/7. The whole controversy that was coming out and leaked out about Spider-Man 4 and how like it was going to be a multiverse story. and everybody was dogpiling on Kevin Feige. You're ruining Spider-Man. Spider-Man needs to be its own street level thing. And it's funny because those same reports will come out and say that Kevin Feige and Tom Holland wants a street level story, but Sony is making it into a multiversal thing. But no one reads that part. They're just like, the MCU is ruining everything. I wish it was a solo film by Sony again. I just can't comprehend. I can't read past the headline to see the actual details of the story. But I say this and I'm a glazer. I see the comments. I'm a glazer for Disney. Even though I don't have videos on videos complaining about the problems with the MCU, I'm just glazing. I'm just a hater. I'm a glazer, but also a rage bait. So I don't know what's going on there. So the concept art comes out and people are talking about how the MCU is going to ruin the story. Secret Wars is going to be garbage. And I'm not saying it as like, I know Secret Wars is going to be the greatest thing ever. I know Doomsday is going to be the greatest Avengers film of all time. I'm not saying that. I have no idea. The Russo brothers are back, and they're writing Hulk characters. I'm scared. If I'm being honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous. They have a lot of things to handle. I'm a little bit nervous, all right? I don't know how they're going to handle all this, but I'm left open to be surprised. I'm left open. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be bad off the rip because of casting choices that I disagree with. I'm just open to see what happens. But you know, on the internet has to be everything negative or everything positive, right? So the biggest complaint people have been saying is that how are they going to condense this story into 1 or 2 films? It's not going to work. It's not going to do good. I don't understand why they're doing this. And my thoughts were, it's funny because everyone talking about how before Endgame, the MCU was in its peak. It was the greatest thing ever. And they did the same thing with their stories too, like Civil War, like Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, that's a big story that they condensed into 1 film. And people complained about it like that. People thought Avengers Age of Ultron was the worst Avengers movie by far. And it's funny seeing now how like everything is flipped for just the narrative. I felt like Avengers Age of Ultron was peak. It was one of my favorite. It's such an underrated Marvel classic. Like, it's such a good movie. And it's funny because when I watched this when it came out, I'm old enough to remember. Listen, I'm not one of these kids that just got into the MCU. I remember it vividly. I remember seeing it in theaters and people's reaction was, this is a letdown. They kind of ruined Ultron for me. It's like, what are we doing here? It's just funny seeing that whole thing. Like, you live long enough, you see the narratives get flipped, and it's like, that's not what happened when it came out. The biggest complaint of the Civil War story was like, oh my god, we have another Captain America movie about Steve saving Bucky. Oh my god, we already saw this in Winter Soldier. We don't need to see it again. Bucky this, Bucky that. It's so boring. And then the movie came out to be good, and they're like, wow, then they were complaining like, this is an Avengers movie painted as a Captain America movie. This shouldn't be a Captain America movie. The complaints about the MCU has always been present, but now the new narrative is, ever since Endgame, there has not been a good MCU movie because of whatever reason. And ever since this concept art came out, it's just been amplified by 100. And now, do I have my issues with the fact that they're introducing Doctor Doom in an Avengers film as the main villain, and the fact that he doesn't have time to grow and like to be like constantly teased and built up like Thanos did in the previous saga? Yes, I have issues with that. For people who are coming out and saying this movie is going to be bad because they didn't have it the way that they wanted it, it's kind of insane to me because we haven't seen it yet. If the movie comes out and it's trash, I will be the first one talking about, yo, that was a letdown. Why do we have RDJ as Doctor Doom? Why do we have this in the third? It didn't work. This is such a waste of time of the character. Doom got ruined again, right? But if it comes out to be good, if this is like peak Marvel again, I guess, then I'm gonna be the first one telling, yo, this is fire. Like, I see the complaints, I understand it, but for the character, this is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie, they handle it very well. But we just gotta wait and see. This whole thing of Marvel cannot do right no matter what it does is insane to me. Because these are the same people that when the stuff is good, they all of a sudden flip a switch. It's like, I always knew it was gonna be good. I always believed in Marvel. I always believed in them. You know what I mean? It's always the same people who watch Daredevil and were complaining that, oh my god, Daredevil boring is not going to be good, but all of a sudden the good reviews are coming out, and now all of a sudden I'm coming back. I stopped watching after Endgame, but you know, it's not the movies though. It's not the movies. They make any loophole, any excuse to excuse the fact that they're coming back just to make more content. But those are my thoughts. Let me know down below what y'all think. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Give me your thoughts in the comments. What should I talk about next? And I'm out. Peace.